This is the battery box I had purchased with the intention of using it with this range extension thing, but it's not good enough for that. Remember, I had this little fan, and it's a 12 volt fan, probably would work just fine on 10 volts. So I thought perhaps I could repurpose this battery box to use it with this fan. Now originally I had set this up to work on batteries that go in here, and I think I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cells kind of like that. How in the world I got them to stay in place is totally beyond me, but that's not very practical. So let's see here. If I put this in, it should start working. Oh geez. Okay, we have a bearing issue. I guess we're going to have to do some servicing on this. I didn't think that this was having a problem, but maybe it is. Or clearly it is. There's no doubt about it. Okay, let's get into this thing. I'm going to remove this battery contraption because it's not going to be used anymore. As far as the fan itself goes, I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a speed selector? It doesn't oscillate, I don't think. The fan has some clips. Let me see if I can get these clips off of there. Okay, clips are removed. Guard is removed. Yeah, it's really dry. Uh-oh, we're going to have a problem getting this off of there. Let's see if I can get that. I don't think that metal ring spring thing is the problem in this case, but let's see if I can get that to come off there. Not looking like it. Well, let's see if I can. I'm not going to be able to get those screws off in the front without pulling a blade. This is going to have to come off eventually, so let's see. Access this will grant us. Just about none because that switch is in the way. That's pretty dumb. It does appear to actually be an oscillator on here. Maybe it is supposed to oscillate. Alright, I'm going to have to work at this spring a little more. Hopefully if I can get that spring to come off of there. Not spring, I guess that's a spring. More of a clamp perhaps. That clamp in there, I got to get that off. See if I can separate it with this screwdriver. maybe. It's going to take some time though, that's for sure. Actually, that wasn't too bad. It's off. And I'm going to try to split the pieces of the blade a little bit here. Yeah, let's see if that'll come off now. There we go. So now we can remove these screws. These are all machine screws. I guess I could use this. Make it go a little bit quicker. Okay, that's not releasing the guard from the motor. It seems to have released the motor from the guard. I don't know what's going on with this. That oscillation mechanism is definitely screwed up. How in the world are you supposed to get this off? Maybe this little clip here, maybe we can push that off somehow. This is clearly a very cheap fan, and there was really no intention for anyone to be servicing this at any point. So this is the motor. It's a, is it a brushless motor? I think it may be. Let's pull this oscillation contraption off of there. It's not really doing any good anyway, so let's see what lies behind it. Oh, that's where the bearing is, so that's fine. We got to clean that out anyways. It is not a brushless motor, it's a brushless motor. That one looks kind of flaky. The spring is all crooked. Let's see if I can fix that. No, I kind of fixed it. It's a little better. It's kind of a non-issue, so I think we're just going to leave it alone. That's not too bad. With that exposed, put a drop of oil in there. As usual, this is the oil for electric motors. You can also use the blue can, 3-in-1. See, it says right there for fans. There's another kind of 3-in-1. This blue, this black one, the black and red can, is not for fans. It's the blue and red can. That's for fans. And power source too, but in this case, fans. spinning a little better, but it's still kind of stiff. I suspect the front bearing needs to be lubricated as well. It's not great, but at least it'll run now. Put another drop on here, and then I'm going to clean the blade off, and then we'll put it back together and try again. Okay, the blade is clean now, so we'll slip this back through here. Reconnect this oscillations arm, even though it won't do any good because there is a problem with the gearbox. Okay, this is going to be a real nuisance to get back together, isn't it? I guess the front didn't even really need to come off because the bearing is still accessible. Oh well. And the rear probably should have gone on prior to connecting those screws in the front, because now I think this won't go back on. There we go. That will. That required more force than I would normally use. Okay. This thing is really a piece of junk, but I'm sure it's still a lot better than any battery operated fan you can buy today. The spin down time is still pretty short. It is a brushed motor, so it's going to have the resistance from the brushes, so you can't expect too much of a spin down, even if the bearings are if the bearings are free. Okay, so reconnect this battery thing again, and see what transpires this time. backwards. Yeah, that's not too bad. It's kind of noisy. There's some noise, like a ticking kind of sound to it. Actually, the air isn't too bad. They're saying the motor is so noisy because the blade itself seems pretty quiet. Yeah, that actually would provide a pretty comfortable breeze, you know, outside or something. In a situation where you don't have access to a regular fan. Well, I guess that makes the fan a little less useless, and it certainly makes the battery box a little less useless. I don't know how much runtime this will give us. These batteries are, I think, 28. Yeah, they're 2600 milliamps. So it's not a lot of capacity, but I don't know if this is a high drawer and it doesn't have any information on it. So we'll see what happens. It's more useful than it was before, at least.